Polyrhythms are used a lot in many genres of music, including electronic music. Now, they may seem complicated at first, but once you understand them, they will become extremely powerful composition tools. A polyrhythm is when you split an even number of notes into an odd numbered division. For example, if we take the length of 2 beats and divide it into 3 equal sections, this would be a polyrhythm. If you look here, we have 2 beats in which I have placed 3 notes an equal distance apart. This is called a quarter note triplet, and it is indeed a polyrhythm. Now, there are different types of polyrhythms, but I'll go through them in a second. If you look here, we have 2 beats from 1 to the end of 1.2, in which I have placed 3 notes an equal distance apart. This is known as a quarter note triplet, because we are taking 2 quarter notes and we are splitting it up into 3 equal divisions. Now, Ableton makes this really, really easy for you. If you right click, you can select triplet grid, and then it will show you a triplet grid, meaning it takes 1 beat or 2 or 4 and divides it into odd numbered divisions, such as from here to here, we have 3 divisions rather than 2, which we would normally get. This is what it sounds like. Once again, I'll have it playing across a few beats. See how it kind of sounds out of time, but then at the beginning of each bar, it goes back in time because it conforms to the beginning of the actual beat. Now, the most common polyrhythm is called a triplet, which is what I just showed you. And what we were doing here is using quarter note triplets. But as mentioned a second ago, a triplet is when you take an even number division of bars or beats or even 1/8 notes and split them into odd sections. I want to give you a few more examples. An 1/8 note triplet spans 2 1/8 note divisions. So if we zoom in and get rid of the triplet grid, an 1/8 note would be from here to here. See, from here to here, it's 1 beat from 3 to 3.2. From here to here, it's half a beat, which is also known as an 1/8 note. So if we take 2 1/8 notes, which would be 1 beat, activate the triplet grid, and we input 3 notes within those 2 1/8 notes, it's known as an 1/8 note triplet. And this is what it sounds like. Similar to before, but quicker. I want to show you one more. So a half note triplet would be the length of 2 half notes. It's also known as 4 beats because a half note is the length of 2 beats, split into 3 equal divisions. So I zoom out a bit. We should get those. There you go. The grid shows us 1 bar, 2 half notes, split up into 3 divisions. And this is known as a half note triplet. Now, how would you apply these? Well, I've got an example over here where occasionally the hi-hat, the closed hi-hat, is playing 16th note triplets because we've got 2 16th note divisions divided into 3 equal sections. This is what it sounds like. And then during this section, we've got 1/8 note triplets because it's 2 1/8 notes divided into 3 equal sections. Now remember, 2 1/8 notes is equal to 1 beat. If this is a bit confusing, you can look at the document that we've attached and just rewatch the video, and I'm sure it will begin to make more sense to you. And once you listen to the way it sounds, you can try to apply it in your productions. Remember that you can right-click and activate the triplet grid so that you can see where these triplets actually fall. And it can add quite a lot of interest to drum patterns specifically And I will say this technique with triplets tends to be used more on percussive instruments than it is used on actual melodic and harmonic instruments. Not to say that you can't use it on melodic and harmonic instruments, of course you can, but it tends to be used more on hi-hats. It's used a lot in trap, short hi-hats, trap genres, as well as in house and techno, in situations like this, where you've got a short little hi-hat or perhaps a tom drum that plays a triplet, alongside other drums which are playing in the regular beats and off beats. Now, the second type of polyrhythm I'm going to talk about is known as dotted notes. A dotted note is when a note spans the length of the original note plus half of its duration added on. Therefore, a dotted quarter note would be the length of a quarter note plus an eighth note. A half note normally has the length of 2 beats, however, a dotted half note would have the length of 3 beats. These can be applied in many ways and can be used on any instrument. However, nowadays they tend to be used more on percussive instruments in order to create some syncopation in what is otherwise a very repetitive rhythm. Just like I did on the MIDI file showcasing the drums and the triplets a second ago. Now, however, I do want you to keep in mind that if you use them constantly, the effect of syncopation dissipates as they become expected to the listener. Therefore, I would recommend to use them sparingly throughout your track. However, like always, rules are made to be broken, and that is how music evolves. So experiment with them and see what you can come up with. And before I let you go, I want to show you the main reason why I think this is useful, other than being able to create a bit of syncopation in your drums. A lot of echo plugins and delay plugins allow you to set triplet or dotted note values as their echo value. So if we look at my favorite delay plugin called Echo Boy, put it on the drums. Over here I can set how often I want the echoes to occur, every beat, every half a beat, every 16th note, and whether it will be dotted or triplet notes. So with triplet notes, this is what it would sound like. See, it's kind of syncopated to the beat compared to normal on the beats and half beat values. Let's try triplet again. Let's go quarter note triplet. There you go. Now, that may not have been as clear because we were already playing triplets on our actual MIDI pattern. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to input the Echo Boy as well on the kick. And just to make it really clear, I'm going to zoom in here. I'm going to mute these. I'll play it from the final kick and we'll just hear the echo and nothing else. I'll increase the feedback so we get more echoes. So that's echoing every half beat. Here it is as a triplet. As a dotted note. So as a dotted note, it would be essentially just under the length of a beat, but longer than an eighth note. Kind of like splitting it into 3, like we said with triplets. If we go to quarter dotted note, it's offbeat, right? And it can create a bit of that syncopation. Quarter note triplet. Again, it's offbeat, but it's quicker. So with echo delay values, using triplet and dotted values can really add a lot of interest to your track. And if you're watching the music production course, we're going to go over how to use echoes with triplet and dotted values as creative effects and also automate them in and out to really add a lot of interest to your track. However, if you're just watching the music theory course, I hope you've still gained a lot from this. Go and apply it to your tracks and see you in the next video.